A couple of weeks ago, I spun a wheel full of HRCYED prompts. HRCYED, if you don't know, is the hardest reading challenge you'll ever do, with the goal of choosing my TBR for July. Now, there was really only one prompt that was on the wheel that I didn't want to get. Spots on the wheel that I'm hoping don't come up. One of them is the 24-hour challenge, because I don't want to do a 24-hour challenge this month. So of course, that's exactly what I got. No, yeah, cool. No, that's fine. The 24-hour reading challenge. And then when I forgot to remove that prompt from the wheel, I got it again. Oh, I forgot to take the 24-hour challenge off of there. Okay, no, I get it. I'm gonna do it. Just really rubbing salt in the wound. Absolutely relentless, that wheel. Anyway, here we are to tackle the 24-hour reading challenge. Now, the rules for this are not really like other 24-hour challenges that you see. I mean, it can be, that would definitely still work, but you don't actually have to stay up for 24 hours reading or read for a total time of 24 hours. But instead, it's just to see how much you can read in 24 hours. And as soon as you fall asleep, your time's cut off. Like, that's it. That's how much you read. Now, there's no goal for the specific amount you have to read, but I decided that it would be fun to see if I could read through all 7 of the Chronicles of Narnia books within the 24 hours. These are the 7 books that I'm going to be tackling. Now, I am going to be doing this in a slightly different order than the order that HarperCollins publishes them in. Like, they actually have the numbering along here, but HarperCollins decided to do it in chronological order, where the prequel is the first book in the series. However, after doing some reading online, I've decided that I am actually going to read this when it was published, so in publication order, which puts it right before that last book here. So this is the actual order that I'm going to be reading these books in. So starting with the famous The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I thought this would be fun because not only does it accomplish a 24-hour reading challenge, but also one of the other prompts on the HRCYED challenge is the series stairway prompt, which basically means that you have to read different lengths of series, with the largest one being 4 or more books. So this is my 4 or more book series now. And just to let you know, I will be talking about the synopses to all of the books very briefly. So if you don't like the spoilers in the idea of knowing vaguely what a sequel is about, like that could possibly tell you information about the first book, I understand. But just to warn you ahead of time, that is going to be a part of this video. With all that being said, I will join you again on the morning of the challenge, where I'll actually be starting off with reading sprints to get it started. Good morning. It is nearly 9 a.m. It's 8:53 and I'm about to go live. But today is officially the day of reading or the 24-hour reading challenge, which is not actually like a full-blown 24-hour reading challenge for me, because I'm not like attempting to actually see what I can read in 24 hours, in that like I'm not trying to stay awake and worry about all of that, but instead this is more like, how much can you read in a day? You technically have 24 hours, but it's like whenever you fall asleep. That's like when it ends. And it's a Sunday and I work tomorrow, so there's no way I'm like going crazy late or anything. And of course I imagined being able to start this and like read a little bit before I start my first reading sprint. No, but I think this will be a fun way to start off. It'd be cool if I could like get through a full book within the reading sprints. I've never done that before with like any book, and these are obviously written for a younger audience, so they should be quicker to read. Anyways, I should focus in on getting ready, and I will see you on the other side, or maybe during, I don't know. Oh, hello. I feel like this was the most I was ever like rushing to start a live stream this morning. It's a big day. It's a big day today because I'm gonna be completely finishing one of the HRCYED squares today. Genres, great choice, because I am very close to finishing that one. And I could read that book that I have on my TBR to finish that one, but no. The 24-hour one, yes. That is exactly what's happening today. Book 1 of the Chronicles of Narnia is The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. This follows siblings Peter, Susan, Edmund, and Lucy. Lucy finds a wardrobe that leads to another world called Narnia, which leads the siblings to going on an adventure and trying to save Narnia from an evil witch. So I've been sprinting. I've been doing live reading sprints for quite a while today. It was very chatty during the breaks. I've never put like timers on the break time, but I'm starting to think that maybe I need to, because as more people watch, which is amazing, I do get carried away still in the chats, especially after the first one. I don't mind like chatting for a long time before starting the first reading sprint, but then in between, I feel like it's so much slower for me. But I did finish The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, which was pretty good. I mean, it was definitely a children's book, which I don't think is inherently bad. Like, I don't think the writing was all that good. Like, I know this is C.S. Lewis. I know that he's a big name, but it was, I don't know. I don't think that children's books get written like this today. And I think that that's probably for the best. However, the world that's imagined and things like that is still very fun. I think that overall I'd probably give it like just 3 stars, like total middle of the road. It's obviously like a strong allegory to like Christianity. And so there's that aspect of it. There's also a bit of like, it's of its time period. You know, the boys fight and the girls don't, but oddly it also does kind of sometimes lend itself to feeling like, oh, maybe the girls could fight. The kids are getting gifts, and Lucy is, and already insane that these children, they seem to be very young children. Like Lucy seems like she's straight up like 6 years old. She might be a little older than that. I don't know, I can't tell. They're all getting like these gifts, and we get to Lucy, the last one to get a gift. And part of her gift is a dagger. The guy that's giving it to her says, and the dagger is to defend yourself at great need, for you are also not to be in the battle. And she goes, why, sir? I don't know, but I think I could be brave enough. And he says, that is not the point, but battles are ugly when women fight. And it's like, aren't battles ugly when children fight? Like, I'm more concerned about the fact that she's a child than with the fact that she's a woman. Because she's not, she's a little girl. She's a tiny little girl. And you also just gave her older brother, who is a little boy, maybe not a tiny little boy, but a little boy nonetheless. He is a child. He might be in teenage years, barely. But you gave him like a sword and a shield, and you were like, you're definitely fighting. And then you gave stuff to the girls and were like, maybe. Just in case. But you're going out there. You're gonna have to kill somebody today. Anyways, 3 stars, I think, just kind of middle of the road. But then I also got halfway through The Horse and His Boy, and that's as far as I've made it. And I need to get on it because I think it's like 3 o'clock right now. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna get on it.
The next book is The Boy and His Horse. This actually takes place during a portion of the first book that is quickly referenced, also known as the Golden Age of Narnia. There is a boy named Shasta who lives in the fantasy world, but not Narnia specifically. He also always had a hard life and then ends up discovering that the cruel man he was raised by is not actually his father and decides to run away to Narnia with a horse.
I just finished The Horse and His Boy, and I liked this one better than the first one, actually. I think it was just like more of a fun kind of adventure tale. And I think maybe the magic of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is really discovering that there is like a world within this wardrobe, but because I already knew that going in, and I knew like little bits and pieces of it going in, like nothing was really that exciting. Whereas this one, it was all new to me, and I liked our main character, Shasta, and I also liked his horse. Seeing them like set out on their adventure and like being fully on board with why he was starting this thing out to begin with, like why he was leaving home. I think that really helped with enjoying the story more, and then everything that kind of came about because of that. And it also just felt more like a full plot, like from beginning to end, whereas The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, so much of it is just like, no, I swear there's this world in this wardrobe. But yeah, I liked Shasta. There was another character that we had, what was her name? Aravis. I liked her a lot. And then we did get to see a little bit of our original group from the first book, like the kids from the first book. So that was really fun too. So I think overall I'm between 3.25 or 3.5 stars. I think I would do 3.5 for that one. And then now I'm going to be getting into Prince Caspian.
The next book is Prince Caspian. The 4 siblings from the first book return to Narnia in order to help Prince Caspian, who has been denied his rightful throne. So he basically just like gets a whole army together to get the throne back.
So I finished Prince Caspian. I think I still preferred this one to the first book, but not quite as much as the second one. I have to say, it is a little ridiculous how much like endgame is always to be a king. Like, that is the height that you could possibly gain in anything ever, is to be a king. But it's still, I mean, it's cute. This one, I did like that we got like our main group for this one, and I liked their turn and the things that they were like going through, and then learning a lot about like what had happened since they were gone and like all that kind of stuff. The actual like titular character of Prince Caspian, it was a good character. I was like rooting for him. I think not quite as much as Shasta. He did remind me a lot of Shasta. I mean, he had like a different like background, but past that, I felt like a lot of his like aims were the same. But yeah, overall, it was good. 3.25, I think. Also, update. I don't know what I am titling this video, because originally I was thinking of something like trying to read all of the Narnia books in one day or in 24 hours or whatever. But I'm starting to think like that's not gonna happen, because it is 6:30 and I'm just starting the 4th book, which is the middle book. Halfway through this book would be the halfway point for me. So I don't think it's gonna happen. I do think I could finish this one, which would be good. This is technically the longest book in the series, but it's not by much because all of them are very short. I'm gonna definitely read this one, and I'm gonna see how far I can get before going to sleep tonight, but I don't wanna drive myself crazy. I think for this one, I'm probably going to work on my embroidery pattern. Basically, this is like a little pattern sheet that I can draw on and then cut it out and put it on there. So I'm gonna finish like tracing the actual pattern, and then I might start on that, but that's what I'm going to be doing while I listen to this book.
Next, we have The Voyage of the Dawn Treader. This book follows Edmund and Lucy, along with their cousin Eustace, as they wind up on the Dawn Treader, a ship that Caspian is sailing in Narnia, looking for 7 lords that were friends to his father, but Caspian's uncle had banished them when he had usurped the throne.
It is in fact nighttime. Just to show you the progress that I made, I've done the little like stem things of a few of the pine sprigs, and I have to say I really liked this one. I do like a good adventure on a ship story, and that's exactly what this is. It also has that aspect of like almost like feeling like you're collecting things, and although it's like more collecting information in this case, finding people or what happened to different people. And so it's a fun little adventure. We get 2 of our like main characters back again that were in the last book, so it was good to see them. Not our full original cast, but we did get another person from like Earth. I was very annoyed with him at first, but I did actually really like his character progression and everything, which I didn't think I would say in one of these books. I didn't think I'd say any character really had that much of a progression. I mean, Edmund did in the first book, but it was very basic. It was very much like, I am this way and now I am this way. Whereas this one felt more like there was an inciting incident to change, but like the change did happen over time. Oh, and for rating, what do I rate this? I think maybe I feel similarly about it as I did to The Boy and His Horse. No, I think I liked it more than that. We'll go with 3.75. I will say this one, I could feel that this one was longer, but I think it's just because it's towards the end of a day of like just reading these books all day.
Next up, we have The Silver Chair. Eustace is back along with his schoolmate Jill. They escape from school bullies together through a strange door at school that leads them to, you guessed it, Narnia. Our favorite lion Aslan needs their help and sends them on an adventure through caverns and eventually to an evil witch that must be defeated.
I kind of forgot to say, but in the last book, like the allegory of religion was strong. It was still overall fun and it's easy to ignore, but sometimes the way that C.S. Lewis talks about current things going on, or like the school system, for example, which it very rarely happens because we're almost fully within Narnia / Narnia adjacent, because there's like other worlds. But he starts this with talking about how these kids are in a boys and girls school, and it's very clear that he does not like the idea of this type of school, and he's basically saying that like more people are bullied because of the school, even though he does say both boys and girls are doing the bullying. So it's not like he's saying the boys are just like bullying all the girls, or like it sounds like this would have happened anyway. Even if the boys and girls were at their separate schools, like some boys would still be bullying other boys, some girls would still be bullying other girls. So I don't see why that is like a staple of this school, even though he very much implies that it is. And then also he says that like if they do bully, the people who did that weren't even expelled or punished, but instead the head said they were interesting psychological cases and sent for them and talked to them for hours, which honestly seems kind of good, like to try to get to the bottom of like what's going on with these kids. I'm not saying like no kid should ever be like expelled from a school or suspended from a school. Like sometimes I think like those cases can be warranted, but I don't think that should be like the first thing that happens. Like the first thing that happens should be that you talk to them. And I mean, maybe not the head of the school, but if you have like somebody that works for the school that is trained in that, I think that that's good. I was already kind of laughing at that. But then at one point, one of the boys goes, "I swear I'm not, I swear by everything." And then in parentheses, it says, when I was at school, which is the author talking to us himself. It says, "When I was at school, one would have said, 'I swear by the Bible,' but Bibles were not encouraged at experiment houses." So that's how C.S. Lewis feels about mixing girls and boys in a school setting. One can only assume how he would have felt today. I always feel weird updating in these rooms. Actually, this will be your first time seeing it because it is in my next video, my next HRCYED episode 4 video. But this video is coming out before that one comes out. So this is your first time seeing me in this weird little booth. I'm at my co-working space and they have like these little phone booths that you can take your meetings in. My meeting ended early, so I figured this is a good time to update because I did in fact finish the silver chair last night. So I was able to get 5 books done in a 24-hour span, which is not great, especially when I think of like how many pages other people are able to get done when they do the same thing. But I had fun because of the live stream and everything. So I'm going to go with that. And also, I feel like I wasn't as serious about like, it has to be a 24-hour reading challenge. So the silver chair. I liked getting our different characters in this one. Like we have a different set of kids that are going into the world. I mean, one of them we know already, but the other one we don't. And like their relationship is kind of newer. Like they know each other a bit from going to the same school, but it's not like they're not siblings like in the previous books. So I do think it was fun to have like that difference. But I do think that this one, the religion element is really becoming more clear. And I think seeing like what C.S. Lewis really was into, or I guess what his like actual thoughts are on like schools that have both girls and boys at them and things like that, which the amount of times that he was like referencing like, oh, but they don't know that because they don't. One of the things was this was the first time they called each other by their Christian names because Christian names is also means like your first name. And so they only would call each other by their last names throughout like the whole book. And then like all of a sudden they call each other by their first names. And he felt the need to point that out. Stuff like that. There was one other thing. Hold on. I took a note of it. Oh, it also said that girls don't learn to curtsy at the experiment school. And that's also a very bad thing. So like, it's just these mentions were like throughout the whole thing. And I think it's because these children are meant to like not really be religious, and whereas our original group was already. And then there's like so much about like, oh, you just need to like trust the process. You need to trust the lion that like he knows what's going on, which I do think removes a lot of the danger that you're supposed to feel at certain times because everything kind of just works itself out. Like whenever something happens, it's like, oh yeah, it was always meant to happen that way, which makes it not matter as much. It makes me feel like it doesn't matter where we are, what's going on. It was meant to happen this way and everybody's going to be fine. So I think that really like reduces the stakes and the agency of our kids. So even when they're like, oh no, we made a mistake, it's like, nope, actually you did exactly what you were supposed to do because this lion knew beforehand. Aslan knew beforehand that you were going to do that, so therefore. And that's just not a very fun way to look at a story, I think. Overall, I do still think I liked it better than the first book, which is my big like barometer now, I guess, but only slightly so. So I would say it is a 3.25 for me. I do still have the other 2 left to read. I don't know when I'm going to read them. I'm like fully in the work week now, so we'll see. I will be sure to update you when I do read them so that I can fully have those all in this video, even though I did not intentionally plan on continuing it past yesterday.
Now we're jumping back in time with the prequel to this whole thing, The Magician's Nephew. I would also like to say that I found this book in a little library, which is why it's so crusty looking. This one starts with Diggory and Polly, who meet and quickly become friends. But then Diggory's uncle, who's a magician, sends them to another place. They don't know where it is, but this eventually leads to the creation of Narnia, which they actually get to witness for themselves. And then they end up encountering, that's right, another evil witch.
Okay, so I've read The Magician's Nephew, and I'm glad I didn't read this one first because I'm not a fan. I also feel like you can really tell that C.S. Lewis, like the further into his publications that he gets, the more he's like, this is religion coded. Like, he is not even, it's not even like allegory anymore. It's like straight up like, this is the creation story. I don't know, it feels not as creative. There was a way that I thought that this was gonna go that I was like, okay, I could get on board with that. And then it did not go that way. But yeah, we get to see Narnia created. I don't know. It's cute to see like the connections to what happens in the books that like I've already read that happen after this one. Like that's cool, but that's about it. So I ended up giving this one 2.25 stars. Probably wouldn't recommend it if you were gonna read, I don't know, at this point I don't know if I'd recommend like reading the Chronicles of Narnia. I just don't think you need to. Like maybe as a kid, or maybe you have a kid, like there is like some magic to them, and I feel like it could be nice if you like want to watch the movie or something. But I feel like there are a lot of better children's books than this one or than this series. And I didn't particularly think the first book, like The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, I didn't think that that was particularly good. I think there was better books within the series than even that one was. But yeah, this is my least favorite so far. Hopefully it is just my least favorite full stop, because I only have one book left.
And finally, the last book in this series, fittingly titled The Last Battle. Supposedly, this is the first and only book that is packaged for adults in this series, but I'm not gonna lie to you, I wrote this section after reading the books and I don't see it. So we're in the last days of Narnia, and there is all kinds of treachery going on that is facilitating this end. Several familiar characters return to Narnia to help protect it.
Okay, it's late. It is late, but I have finished the Chronicles of Narnia. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I finished The Last Battle. I feel like these last two have been so anticlimactic as far as like this whole video goes and reading this whole series, because I had such better luck with the other ones. But as I said, C.S. Lewis is like continuing on that like, hey guys, this is about Christianity. Ever heard of it? That's what it feels like reading this book. Is a lot specifically about like blasphemy, I guess, and trusting that you, or like humans taking advantage of Christianity to like make it into something else. So I guess, I don't know, I guess that's good. It does make all humans seem really stupid though. The example of that in this book really portrays humans as being like dumb as rocks. Which, I mean, maybe that is what he's trying to say. Basically, it's like a whole false idols situation. It was very nice to see some of the characters. The ending, kind of grim. Also, one of the siblings, I was very surprised by their ending, and I did not very much appreciate it, honestly. But other than that, the ending, I know that it's like meant to be this positive thing, but man, does it feel really grim. But yeah, that's it. I have read all of the Chronicles of Narnia. I did it. So that is that done on the series Stairway, which is really exciting actually, as well as the 24-hour reading challenge done. I'm not gonna show the graphics here because obviously I'm gonna have my wrap-up video for July, episode 4 of HRCYED, but I thought it could be fun to do like my rankings of all of the books. Oh, I never said this one, what did I give this one? A 2.5, I think is what I settled on. So slightly better than The Magician's Nephew. For what it's worth. No, wait, maybe I gave it a 2.75. I think I did. I think the ending actually, even though it is a little grim, I kind of liked it. I'd like that it gives you a lot to think about. But if I were to do a ranking of these, I'm having a hard time remembering, and I literally just read these. I think they're blending together a little bit. It might be like this. I think I'm a little fuzzy around like these three because they kind of all to me were like, oh yeah, those are pretty good. But I know for sure that my favorite was The Voyage. I think that just like it was more adventure-y than the other ones, and they're all pretty adventure-y because like you're going to this new world and everything. But that one felt more like we knew exactly what the adventure was supposed to be and where we were supposed to go and everything. And then after that, I put The Horse and His Boy. Again, like we had like a bit of a voyage, not like a ship voyage. And then I have Prince Caspian. I'm having a hard time remembering what that one was about now, but I have somewhat positive feelings about it. Then I have The Silver Chair, which I think was good. There were parts of it that I really liked and had fun with, and then like there were parts of it that I was pretty bored by. Then I have The Last Battle, which was really, the ending was doing a lot of heavy lifting for this one. Then The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe was actually my second to least favorite. And then finally we have The Magician's Nephew, which I just overall didn't really like, and I don't think it was necessary. Anyways, I hope that you did enjoy watching this video. Thank you for coming along with me. Sorry I couldn't do it all in 24 hours. Sorry this 24-hour reading challenge video wasn't in 24 hours. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please do consider subscribing and consider following me on Instagram, on Storygraph. I'm technically on TikTok, but I haven't posted anything on there in like a while, and I'm pretty sure I only have like 2 videos on there. But I am planning on using it again soon, so you could follow me there. And then also I have a Patreon, so consider joining that if you want to. But you don't really have to do any of that, because really I just want to see you back here for the next video. Bye.